Postpartum depression. Postpartum depression is, we all know that it's a joyous time to have a child, and usually things go smoothly. And but if you know any new mothers, it's not uncommon for them to feel a little off temporarily, and some people call that the baby blues. But the body's adjusting to a lot of changes, to say it mildly. But 10 to 20% of women will actually have a more significant issue where the depression symptoms are more severe and last longer, up to a year. And that's what we're talking about here, because those are the women who need help, need intervention. And what you want to do in that situation is address the root issue. And obviously it might have something to do with the hormones. It's like, hello, it's not a real, so it is odd, as Dr. Hotze was mentioning, that people talk about using antidepressants in the scenario of postpartum depression. But low progesterone is a common issue when women are suffering with postpartum depression. During pregnancy, the levels of progesterone go up tenfold. And then suddenly, bam, it drops. And that is obviously hard to adjust to. And that drop in progesterone is also accompanied by the fact that it can take a while for the body to recover and start making more. So it's low and it can stay low for a while. Progesterone has been often referred to by women in our practice as the feel-good hormone. And it gives often a sense of well-being, of calm. And we now know that that has to do with some of the metabolites of progesterone activating the GABA receptors, and the GABA receptors are this calming effect. And so it's a wonderful hormone that you don't want to be without. And by the way, men make some progesterone from their adrenal gland. But this drop in progesterone makes women feel anxious, makes them feel depressed. And guess what? We compound progesterone. It's available. And adding the progesterone back in can make a big difference. It does take a different amounts in different women. Some need just a little bit. Some need what you think of as a very large dose. But whatever women need, we can provide for them. And thyroid is also very commonly an issue with postpartum depression. There's actually a situation with the autoimmune thyroiditis, is when the immune system is going after the thyroid gland. That becomes much more common during pregnancy, and thyroid hormones get thrown off during pregnancy. And it's well known as well that during pregnancy and afterwards, the levels of the active thyroid hormone get low. So guess what? We know thyroid makes a big difference in this area. And you would think that this is published data, but for some reason, most physicians are still not treating the root issues. And pregnenolone, estrogen, oxytocin are hormones that can be low as well. And certain minerals and vitamins, I've actually already seen some cases where the minerals are way out of balance, and zinc, copper, and selenium. Low vitamin D, we all know vitamin D is important, but low vitamin D actually contributes to depression. And that's such an easy thing to correct. And by the way, you want to get sunlight too, and I don't know that I wrote this down, but you might put /sunlight, because we know that just getting sunlight is tremendously helpful. There was a study published coming up on almost 10 years ago where women with plain depression, not seasonal affective depression, actually did extremely well with just light therapy. They'd get bright lights in front of them for about an hour, and it would make a world of difference. It was as effective as an antidepressant, which honestly is not saying that much, but in that study, that's And low omega-3s also contribute to the problem, as do low B vitamins, particularly folate and B12. So by combining all these things together, when the things that are off anyway, we found that women experience tremendous relief. And I know that many of our guests have been in the habit of going in when they're delivering. This is often family members of folks that work here. When they have children, will often go in with some progesterone, in their purse and start taking it after they deliver to try to head off problems. Not that I'm necessarily saying that that's what you should do, because most of the time you don't need it. But that's how reliable and helpful progesterone can be. So we have that available for those who need that. And I want to say, do you have any questions? But I'm not supposed to say that. So write down your questions.
Thank you very much, Don.
You're welcome.